don't have control. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Rick Plasket, executive coach and business coach with Action Coach Louisville. Welcome to Wednesday's webinar, and this is the last Wednesday of March, which is the first month of the shutdown. Listen, we've all been through this crisis, and we're now starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what today's webinar is all about: is transitioning from the lockdown to the back open up. um, as we look at this, some of the things that we want to focus on is absolutely focus on the business. Okay, just your business. There's a whole lot of stuff out there about the health, but we are all about the business today. And what do you have to do to prepare? Okay, we want to look at what do you need to do now, and why do you need to do it? And remember, this is a journey, this is not a destination. And just like your GPS starts to frustrate you when it says recalculating, that's what we've got to get ready to do. Okay, the 7 steps that we're going to focus on. Number 1, in any situation, be the leader. The second one, identify your support. You're not in this alone. It may feel like it sometimes, but you're not alone. There's plenty of support out there. But you know what? That support isn't reaching out to you right now. You've got to reach out to get it. The situation, boy, the situation is changing every single day, every single minute. And we need to be constantly looking at that situation, because today's world is different than it was a month ago. Targeting our short-term goals. Again, I said this week after week. Action Coach is known for setting up 90-day plans. In a normal world, 90-day plans is a great tool. It's a proven tool. It's a world-class tool. In today's world, we've got to shorten those goals up and look at your goals for 2 weeks. Next 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks after that. Adjusting our plans. Plan, 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 plan. No one plans to fail, but people fail to plan. That's an old thing. Right now, if we don't have 3 or 4 different plans, then you're probably going to fall behind. Adapt your operations. Wow, there's a blinding flash of the obvious. The new world is going to require us all to be doing business just a little differently, and then looking at how do we recover from this, and how do we go into your new growth. Listen, every situation, every crisis situation is a golden opportunity to grow. Those people that recognize it and can react quickly, you're going to come out of this much, much better than we went into this. Let's be that group. That's what this is all about today. Again, we look at the end of this. If you think that we can help you with your breakout action plan, give me a call. I'll have my phone number on again. Okay, so a reminder: cycle of change. We start out in the normal, we get some new information, and then we've got to implement it. From there, we put those things into action, we do adjustments in our business, and it goes back to a new status quo. The challenge is we got this little box over here. It's called chaos. And chaos hits us and is hitting us from all over the place. I mean, we are doing things in business that we never thought we had to do. And yet we have to, and we do it. This circle goes around. What's the difference this week from last week when I showed this circle? Those those green arrows are moving a whole lot faster, and we've got to be catching up with it, or that wheel's going to run us over. Okay, so let's start in. Step number 1, be the leader. This is where you have to ask yourself, how prepared are you? Are you prepared enough? Okay, we've had some things change in this last week. The second stimulus package came through. It was approved. Does that mean you've got your money? Maybe, maybe not. It's still coming. Okay, breakout. We've got a number of states, and every single minute the states are changing into how they're coming back to life. And they're not coming back the same. I mean, we just have to look at our own situation, where we are. We need to look at the other situations and say, are they ahead of us? Can I learn from them? Listen, only in college is copying called plagiarism, and it's frowned upon. In business, copying what other people are doing, it's called market research. And we have plenty of market research out there. I mean, shoot, in Georgia, you've got tattoo parlors and barber shops opening up last Friday. In Kentucky, we had medical um, businesses opening up this Monday. So everybody is opening up slightly different. The chance to Google and look at what other businesses are like yours in other states and see what their challenges are, that's what it means to be informed. Okay, this is fast and it's complex. We'll get into a lot of the complexity here. I'm sure you're aware of it. Couple of things to also be the leader, and I ask, how prepared are you? This last week with our clients, we're looking at, okay, when we open up, we are assuming that we're increasing the risk of getting sick, getting testing positive. Do you have a succession plan and does it work? Okay, we've talked about keeping your people safe for weeks now, but in getting out and reopening, or even if you've been open this entire time and others are opening up, the possibility of getting sick is going to escalate from where it is from lockdown. Do you have a succession plan for you? Do you have a succession plan for your key people? What happens if they have to be quarantined? What happens if you have to be quarantined? Okay. So, do you have a succession plan? A leader will. Okay. Public relations plan. This is very interesting. I introduced last week, I've got a client in Georgia, barbershop. There's another barbershop that's just 3 blocks down on the same road, and they both are looking at coming back to business in completely different ways. Barbershop that I was coaching with, we chose to go with a soft opening, called up all of their loyal customers and said, when would you like to come in? We'll do by appointment only. The barbershop down the road put on Facebook and plastered ads all over the place. We know you need a haircut. We've got 12 barbers waiting. We're ready to open. And because of their approach, people with opinions, we've seen them, they're all around now, but people with opinions chose to protest both virtually online and actually show up outside of that barbershop with pickets that saying you're endangering our health. Do you have a public relations plan to handle that type of potential reaction? If you don't, you might get caught short. Doesn't have to be a big complex thing, but we got to think about, what is the world going to do in the way of reacting to us coming back online or us expanding what we're already doing. Enough said with that. If we won't have that, we need to add it. Okay. Safety of your employees and customers. Wow, that's on the that's on the news every single day. The safety of everybody, and absolutely we want to do that. So what are the preparations that you have to do to keep your employees safe and to keep customers safe? The leader is going to look at that and have plan A, plan B, and plan C. Okay, because one of those three is not going to work. We're all in this thing brand new together. There is no definitive approved solution to this. We've got to be able to adapt, and what's going to work for another business may not work for you. We have to be customized there. Again, looking at 2 week plans, 2 week goals. 2 weeks should be your metronome right now. That should be your heartbeat. As it beats, we should be looking at 2 week, 2 week, 2 week, and rolling 2 week. Now, in that preparation, here's the next question for you. Do you really want to be the first to open? Or do you want to have a soft open, make sure that all of your plans and your preparations are working, and then announce your grand reopening a little later? There's pros and cons to each of these. Again, there's no right, there's no wrong, but you need to be prepared for that, and you need to be conditioned for what is going to happen when you do open back up. Okay, so what is right for you? That's really the solution there. It's a custom solution. It's not a concrete approved solution. It's what's right for you. And only you as a leader knows what that is. Again, we can help you with those decisions. Okay. So being the leader and looking at those. Still don't have control here. Technical difficulty, guys. I'm learning this too. This is a constant learning. There we go. All right. So listen, I mentioned support, and this is the truth. This is an approved solution. Support is not going to jump up and come knocking at your door right now. You're the one that's got to go find it. Okay. Support can be in many different corners. It can be what you already use and what you're currently using. It can be something brand new to you, or it can be something old. Okay. When it comes to support, we've kind of moved down these bullets as we've gone through the weeks of the lockdown. The focus now, I highlighted it and bolded it, logistics. Listen, businesses are coming back, states are coming back at different rates. If you have a logistics and a supply chain that goes outside of your current local geography, we need to really look at that and say, is it going to come back? Can it come back at the same pace that I need? Logistics, if you open up and you don't have the support to stay open, that's only going to hurt. So we need to look at that logistics. We need to practice it right now, test it out, and make sure it's going to work. Okay. Your support in operations. You know, we have internal control over a number of things. There's a whole lot of support out there if you go get it that's going to help with contact or lack of contact interaction with your customers, your suppliers, and your entire chain of operations. Right? Where we used to have invoices that went back and forth, where you used to swipe credit cards, where you used to close a deal with a handshake. Okay. That contact is going to be frowned upon in the new world. So, what we need to look at is how do you change your operations contactless? How do you take payment virtual? How do you take signatures on agreements virtual? Okay. There are tools out there and applications out there that will allow you to do that. If that's going to help you continue to do in business, we need to look for that support right now. The customer service. I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but customer service is a real focus that the news and the leadership, the government leadership is not covering right now. Customer service has changed, and what your customers need has changed. If you're a B2C business, your customers have a specific context of a need that you need to address. If you're a B2B, there's a context that has changed as well. And quite honestly, I haven't seen it in any of the news, but I'm going to share it with you in a couple of slides, and it includes the community as well. Okay, assessing your situation. Again, huge changes all over the place. There's plenty of people that are doing different things. As you look at your situation, you need to do research. Okay, might be as simple as calling your insurance agent. When you open back up, do you need to have a different insurance coverage in this new world? Legal advice. I really don't want to get there because I don't think the attorneys know any more than anybody else does because this is brand new. But it might be a good thing to take a look at your attorney and ask, where are my exposures? I did read an article just this last week on an attorney's opinion, slip and fall for businesses that have establishments that are open to the public. There's always been a coverage for slip and fall. If a customer slips and falls on your premise, what happens? Are you covered? And how do you stay covered? Well, if we take that type of concept and we expand it to this new world of wearing masks, potentially getting sick or contaminating somebody else or not contaminating somebody else, you know, a wise leader is going to at least seek the advice there. Okay. And then again, public relations. We've seen that all over the news where certain businesses are touted as heroes for being open and other businesses are touted as villains for being open. Understanding the public relations and how to be on that hero side instead of the villain side. Um, we mentioned assess your situation. New business may be different for you. You may have a golden opportunity to double or triple your volume. Are you going to be profitable at that? Okay. At the same time, if you're a restaurant or you're a chiropractor, there are certain guidelines that are out there right now that limits the volume of what you can do. Are you going to be profitable at that? You need to run your business model right now and see that, because if we open up and we see that, okay, our business is going to double or triple, but we haven't scaled to meet that success, you know, double or tripling revenue, but not making any profit on it is not where we want to be in the new world. Can you be profitable at your new business level? And then what if scenarios in your situation? Assess what's the health risk and how can you prevent that? What's your supply? How do you contact with your people, your employees, and your customers? And again, assessing a situation, there's so many different situations, and we need to have solutions for them. In fact, you probably need to come up with one or two or three solutions for every single different situation. If that sounds daunting, hey, we're here to help. We can absolutely help you do what you need to do. And again, we're moving to number 4. So after we've assessed our situation, what we need to do is look at our goals. I'm sorry. Back to assess the situation. This is something that Action Coach is known for. It's called 5 ways to improve your profits. Okay. Those of you that have worked with Action Coach, you're familiar with this. The 5 words down the left-hand side here in blue, those are areas that we can help you with. Customers are a resultant of doing business with leads and conversions. Revenues is a result, and profits is a result. Things are going to change. When I say doing a business model, we need to look at, what was your business model before this happened, and what were your numbers in each of these categories. Then we need to look at your plan A, your plan B, and your plan C, and run your numbers. Okay, if you can function at full capacity and still make a profit, great. Then any of those plans are going to work. But if you have to change your business to the point where margin changes because of increased expenses to operate, and all of a sudden that profit turns red instead of black, well, then when we open up, we're going to be bleeding instead of making money. That's not a good thing at any time. We need to know about that now so that we can adjust the plan. Again, this is something that we do every single day, and it absolutely is a world class tool that works in the crisis now, and it will help you prepare to launch into this new world. Is let's look at your numbers, let's run it, and let's see what the potential can be as you come out. So that's step 3. There we go. Step 4, your goals. I've said this before. Listen, it sounds like I repeat myself. This is a fallback in the military. We've learned that soldiers forget the first time, they kind of acknowledge the second time. It's not until the third or fourth time that they hear it that they start to internalize it. So when I seem like I'm repeating myself, it's for a purpose. Your goals, we need to look at 2-week chunks. What is your goal for this week? Okay, some of you may be opening up, some of you may not. Here in Kentucky, if your goal for this week is not to order face masks, then you're behind. If you've already done that and you have your supply, congratulations, you are ahead. But just earlier this week, they announced that one of the requirements to open business back up is come May 11th, everybody in public will have to wear a face mask. One of the other announcements that they made here in Kentucky was that when you open up, you need to have the ability to take people's temperatures, both your people and your customers' people. So again, if we haven't ordered thermometers, you got a 2-week lead time to get that functioning. That's what we talk about setting goals is, if we take the crisis completely out of this, go to a happy place when you were planning a, uh, a trip to a foreign country for a vacation. Well, in order for that vacation to happen, there's certain things that have to happen beforehand. If you don't have a passport or a visa, those have to happen long before you go on your vacation, or you're not going to be able to go. That's what we talk about your goals. Your goal for this week should be that one step that you need to do to prepare now, that if you wait is only going to push your launch out even further. Who can help? And what can help with these goals. This is just human nature. We have been in lockdown for a month. We have been working from home for a month. We have been in a new environment for over a month. We have new conditioning, and it's starting to show in a lot of people in the way they communicate and interact. And what that is they look like I'm alone. Okay, you as a leader, as the business leader, you need to break that and you need to look at what can help with that and get people connected again because people are going to be rusty and they're going to be out of shape when they come back to work, when your customers come in. They're going to be out of shape and they're going to be thinking and acting a whole lot different. Use that though. Use that as the opportunity. Where is the opportunity to be better than your competition, to grab new markets, to look at new customers and how you can use that. Okay. Your goals absolutely should be 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks should be preparing for all of these new opportunities because this is a new world, and those that are thinking and acting are going to be the ones that succeed the best. Okay. Adjusting your plans. I introduced this last week, and it's absolutely, we got to hit that button again. The big red reset button we need to hit because every single week there's new guidelines coming out. And most states have guidelines on how to go to business. Okay. How do we do with our people? Well, folks, the bold on that second one is training. And let me just go deep on that real quickly. Okay. If you haven't been in business or your business has been scaled back, we need to train people to come out of this. And what are the new things? How do we interact with face masks on? How do we interact with the need to clean and sanitize in between customer actions? That is something that has to be trained now. We even have to train our customers. If you've been to Kroger or if you've been to Costco in the last 2 weeks, they have people at the front door training you on how to be a customer for their establishments right now. We need to have that training in place now. Now, what does that training involve? This is the next thing, okay? If you're a B2C, your customers, and all of us are customers. We've been told for over a month what to do, what not to do. We have not had control. We've had very little control, but we're a country and we're a world of recognizing that we have a need for a certain level of control. And that control has been taken away. Okay. When we open up again, when you can meet your customers' need to feel like they are in control, you're going to be recognized and your business is going to grow. Let me give you an example of that. I've talked to several of my friends in Georgia last week. Like I said, a number of gymnasiums and barbershops and nail salons opened up. And there was a whole lot of pro and con to all of that, from business owners to the customers. The deal with that is I talked to two of my friends and they said, I've been here and my nails look awful. I'm in control of this. And they called almost a dozen nail salons until they found one that met their needs, was open, and could take them. They were in control of being able to decide that they were going to go do their nails. They were able to drive to the place, they were able to assess the situation and say, I'm in control, I feel safe, I feel safe enough to be able to feel good about my nails. And then when it was done, they were able to drive home. So the customer had a degree of control at any time. They could have opted out of that entire transaction if they didn't feel safe. When you're open for business, how can you give your new customers that feeling that they're in control? Okay. That's a critical thing in B2Cs is help them to feel like they're in control of their entire environment and they're going to love you for it. If you go into a business now, okay, a little difference. I went into Kroger and they had a number of signs all over the place of what to do, what not to do. They gave me warnings of what is going to be happening in a couple of weeks, and it felt normal. It felt like I was in control. I went to Costco and there were 3 people outside, and one was saying, "Nope, only 1 person per household could come in." And they were also telling people you had to be safe distance, and they were metering us in. And then they were handing out face masks as well, saying, "No, you can't come in here." So who had the control there? I didn't feel as comfortable in Costco as I did in Kroger. And I don't mean to be dropping names. Those are simply used as examples. Now, in B2B, let's switch this a little bit because this is still about people, but this is about the people that are behind the scenes. If you're a B2B business, we're all feeling out of control and in a world of confusion. What's happening and what's not happening? If you're a B2B business, when you can give your customers a sense of, we got this for you, you don't need to worry about it. If you can give them assurance that, no, you don't need to worry about this part, we have your back, your customer is going to really appreciate that and be willing to do business with you, even if you didn't do business with them before the shutdown. Okay. B2B businesses are looking for the consumer, and the buyer in that business is looking for assurance. They've got so many things that they have to pay attention to. If they feel like you got their back in this one area and they don't have to focus on it, you're going to get that business. Absolutely. Now, how do you communicate that to them? That's what you need to do in your plan. That's a shift in marketing, that's a shift in sales of, we've got your back, let us keep it. Okay. Marketing is going to change, operations change. We need to be prepared for this. And it's not just one change. It's going to be continual change. As things happen all around the country, we take research, we take notes, and we do little changes and little pivots. If that sounds daunting to you, again, planning for your business, planning for your activities in your operations, that's what Action Coach Louisville does. Give us a call. That call is free. Give us a call and we'll sit down and review your plan and your breakout plan with you and help you identify what you got. Yeah, you got this. You're ready to go. And where you might want to pay a little closer attention. Okay. Changing your business model. Again, I'm repeating this, but how can you be profitable in the new world? If you're a restaurant and all of a sudden you're mandated to only serve 25% of your capacity, okay, I've coached a number of restaurants. We work on tables being filled and tables being turned every single evening. And most restaurant businesses rely on a heavy Friday and Saturday night business population in order to be profitable. How do we be profitable when someone is telling you you can only bring in 25% of the customers that you built your establishment for? It's possible, but we need to look at that model and run it so we know how to work. Okay. New norms. Social distancing is just, it's a new norm. It's going to be there. We've seen it every place that you go right now. They've got little tape marks on the floor to remind us of how far to stay apart. Face masks, that's coming. It's already starting to show up, but seeing somebody's nose and mouth is going to be a thing of the past in first contact out in public. And thermometers are going to probably be a way of the future to, assure people and give them assurance. I mean, imagine if you are a home service. Before the crisis, many people in the house, one of their concerns, besides a leaking pipe that needed to be fixed, was security. Who's coming into my house? Well, now their concern is going to be, is this person coming into my house healthy? So how do we give that to them? How do we give them that control and that confidence so that we can go in and fix the leaking pipe? That's got to be part of your business model. Okay, little changes. Again, virtual is here to stay, remote is here to stay. Customer contact, where that is reduced and it is more virtual and automatic, is absolutely a new way of the new world business. Are you ready for that? Okay, again, changing your business model when we're allowed to go back to business. If you've been shut down, do you want to be first or do you want to be the fast second? Here in Kentucky, guess what was supposed to happen this coming Saturday? The Derby. Okay. I don't know much about horse racing, but what I've learned in the last year that I've been here is that different horses and different jockeys have different models for the race. Some of them want to get out in front and be first. Others have a strong finish and want to see how the race develops and then depend on their sprint to be the winner. The whole point of this is we all want to be the winner in this new world. What's your business model to make that happen? And again, if you can't answer that question or you don't feel like you know the answer, brainstorm with somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. Talking with people and figuring this thing out, we're all in this together. Okay. Adapting your operations. Safety and people first. Folks, you don't need to have people get sick. We've locked down and we've changed the entire world to keep people healthy. Let's make sure that we stay focused on that. People are going to drive your business. Safety is going to drive your people. Contact. Again, I've said this 3 or 4 slides in a row. I'll say it again right here. How does that contact change and how do we reduce the things that really aren't necessary in order to do business? Are you going to open and how are you going to open? Are you going to open with a celebration or are you going to open with um, a slow, quiet open? It's what's right for you, and then how fast are you going to ramp up. Some businesses are going to be booming. They're absolutely going to be booming. If you're anything to do with logistics and supply, there's going to be a boom out there because that's the thread that holds the entire economy together. Now, that's going to be an open like a bumper car, and let's be ready for that. I've said this last week and I'll say it again. It's a great analogy, and that is that when things start to open back up and business starts to pump again, it is not going to be a NASCAR race where everybody pumps on the gas and they all go fast. Okay, it is going to be more like bumper cars at a carnival, where some people are going to be able to go fast and have a clear path. Others, there's 3 or 4 things that they're going to bump into, and then that's going to change all over the place as people start to go. Okay, you've seen some of the news articles about the food chain. And that food chain is just an indication of what all chains are going to be like. I mean, here in Kentucky and in southern Indiana, we've got some steel industries where they've shut down furnaces for this last month. It's going to take them some time to open up. Imagine this. For those of you that have a lawnmower or a gas string trimmer, when you put it away in the winter, when you first bring it out in the spring, does it start up right away and everything is nice, or do you have to fidget with it? I'm betting you have to fidget with it, and that's what this operation and coming back to life around the entire globe is going to be like. Okay? Look for advice, do your research, and be ready for changes. Okay? Marketing and sales. This is almost old news now, but marketing and sales has changed. Imagine how can we do a cold call in a social distancing? For the last month, anybody that has had sales knows that doors are closed and locked, and they don't want strangers coming in because there's this perceived need for safety, and they don't know you. How do you change that? How do we change from outbound marketing to inbound marketing? Those that are functioning with networking events, social networking, virtual networking has got a ways to go to become effective. But hand to hand networking over a beer or a handshake, yeah, that's going to be a ways away. If your business is relying on those, we need to pivot and change quickly. When it comes to marketing, I mentioned needs for control, needs for assurance. Your marketing needs to be appropriate for the new world. When you address it with compassion, when you address it and it's purposeful and appropriate, people are going to hear your message. They're also going to hear it if it's off target, and they're going to hear it hard. And that's what we don't want. Marketing is virtual. You got to be creative. Listen, when you can have a virtual marketing tool that goes viral, you got the new marketing model. If people look at this and go, man, I really like that, and it catches their attention and they share it with somebody, they absolutely, you're going to be successful there. Okay. Yellow pages, man, that's dead. And so is a whole lot of other marketing right now. Don't be doing that. Be doing the new stuff. It's a whole new marketing and sales game out there. We need to write a new plan for that marketing because people still need to know, one, you're in business, okay, and two, you're safe to do business with. Staffing changes. Uh, Mindset of confusion. Absolutely. People are confused. I'm confused. I know you're confused. We're getting different messages all over the place. Leaders need to listen to that confusion. We also need to recognize, and here's one of the things that it shocked me this weekend when I was doing a nice long walk with my dog, is in the Army, we went through um, POW training, prisoner of war training. And there was a whole lot of isolation. There was a whole lot of mind games and changing and getting into your mind that they were exposing us to so that we could be prepared, so that we could practice for that potential. And it wasn't until this weekend when it dawned on me that the entire world is in that type of thing. We've been POWs, we've been prisoners of the COVID 19 war for the last month, and we're experiencing some of this mentally. Okay. People are confused, people are anxious. Those extroverts, man, they're dying because they've had nobody to talk to and nobody to interact with, and darn sure haven't had too many people to hug. Okay. Introverts are sitting there going, man, this is cool. I don't have to talk to people now. I'm liking this new world. But there's a sense of isolation, and that sense of isolation starts to dull our skills of interaction. And when we come out of this, we need to recognize that people, even though they think they're the same, they're not, and they may not even recognize it. So leaders need to listen to that, recognize how things might change, and help your team get into the new world. Help your customers get into the new world. When you're doing that and you help understand and meet them in their current mindset and recognize it's not the same. If any of this sounds strange to you or new to you, I invite you, Google the heck out of, isolation and what does it do to the mind? What does this lockdown do to the mind and the mindset? Because when you can connect with people in their new mindset, you'll be successful. When you can't, you're going to get a whole lot of responses that you're wondering, where did that come from? Because it's going to be completely new. Your team, listen, your team, is it ready? If you've been functioning this entire time, if you've been a Kroger store, if you've been a hospital and your people are working and they're working under stressful situations, are they ready to continue to go forward? Again, we need to address their emotional and their psychological impact here. How can you help them be strong in this environment? You can't expect them to continue to go in this new environment of stress without reinforcing and building and refilling their their emotional bank account to give them the strength to continue. If your team has been laid off and you're bringing them back, guys, this is just like spring training for baseball. Your people are out of shape. They're not used to working together, and they're darn sure not used to this new environment. Training, training, training is what we've got to focus on to get them up to being safe for themselves, being productive, and being customer friendly. Training is a big thing with your staff. What if your employees don't come back? You invite them back and they say, listen, school's not going. I don't have anybody to take care of my kids. I can't come back. You know, do you have a plan for that? Bringing them back or finding a different person? Are you ready for the new labor market? Two of my clients, they're growing, buying new trucks, new service trucks, and absolutely looking at some huge growth coming out of this the second half of the year. One of the advantages that we have there is before this crisis, there was a tight labor market. Now there's a whole lot of labor out there. It may not be the certified technicians that you need, but there's a whole lot of people out there with the skills that meet what you need. They just need the certifications. How do we approach that new labor market? Because listen, the old way of doing this, the old way of Career Builder, LinkedIn, Indeed, they're very good tools, but are they the right tools to get you the people with the same character as your business, the same chemistry that can work with you in this new environment, and then the capabilities? The answer is, I'm not quite sure. Give us a call. We can help you plan out how to approach the new labor force. Hazardous duty pay. This is something I learned last week in the U.S. Chamber of Commerce webinar, and it was a surprise to me. So I made a huge note of it, and I wanted to share it with you. Again, this is not my idea. This is something I learned from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. If you have taken the PPP, the Payroll Protection Program, okay, you can, to get people to come back, to acknowledge people's extra efforts for you, you can apply a hazardous duty bonus. You got to be smart about it. There are guidelines. There are things that are going to say, no, 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 you've done this way too much. But hazardous duty bonus is a tool that you as a business owner can use with your people to do what you need to do. Imagine hazardous duty training bonus as well to help them do these changes that you're looking at. Again, that's a tool that's available, and it's something, if it sparks you and you're not quite sure how to use it, give us a call. We can help you out with that. Okay. Planning for the recovery. Folks, this has been a constant slide all the weeks that we've been doing this because it doesn't change. Right now, winter is the economic winter, it's over. Okay. There's some lingering patches of ice and cold, but it's for the most part over, and the spring is coming. Preparation and planning, we got to do now because it's on its way. And then we know that that's probably going to be a short term. It's not going to be years, it's going to be months. No one knows how long. But then we return to a summer. This is going to be a summer like no one's ever seen before, but it's going to be a summer. Business is going to move, and we need to figure out how to take advantage of that when it happens. Right? Again, if you look at the picture that we have here, the crisis was a speed bump. Okay, speed bump interrupted everything. At the other side of the crisis, we're going to start up again. It's going to be new. It's going to be unknown. It's going to be exciting. Okay, but there's going to be opportunity and growth there, and we need to look at how do we persist to get that, and how do we take our fair share. Because folks, when things start back up again, if you're not taking advantage of new growth, your competition is, and you don't want to come in second in this one. Okay, so in summary, the 7 steps that we look at: be the leader, being prepared now, and prepared. How deep do you have to go to really be prepared to launch? Okay, identifying your support. Every part of your business, every part of the new business model, there is support there. The one common fact is that support is not reaching out to you. You need to look at where's your strengths, where's your weaknesses, where is your unknown, and where is the things I don't know, and seek it out. It's not going to come to you. You've got to go find that support, but there's plenty of support out there. Every single day I find new sources of support for businesses. Okay, assess your situation. I've said this once and I'll say it again. This is not something where you can have one plan, even for the next week, and sit back and say, I'm good to go. We need to have multiple options and be able to change between those options at a moment's notice. Review your goals, Again, 90 days, that was nice in the past to get us through this launch. It's at 2 weeks and check off those milestones. Yep, I've got this. I'm ready to go. I've got face masks. I know how to do that. I know how to social distance. I know how to market. Great. Check off those milestones. Then you're ready for the next milestone and then the next one after that. Adjusting your plan. Only you know your business, and only you can look at other business models around you and learn from their experience and incorporate the best parts of those into your business plan. Operations, I said, be ready there. Listen, operations is practice. It's practice, practice, practice. If you're in business, you practice every single day. If your business has shut down, now's the time to get in there and practice. What does social distancing look like? What does lack of contact look like? How do we operate in this new environment to be safe and to be profitable? Don't expect that you're going to open your doors and figure it out. Grab a couple of the people that are closest to you in your family and go and practice the new business. Be ready for the new operations. Okay. Plan and recovery. Okay. If we're not planning for your recovery and for your growth, you're going to be behind. How are you going to run your own derby race? Are you going to be the first out of the chute, or are you going to lag back, see how everybody develops, because you can sprint to the head? Doesn't matter what your plan is, it matters what the result is. People only remember who came across the line first, not all the statistics of how the race was run for that minute and a half. Okay. Be successful and win the game coming out of this. And again, today's offer is the same as we've done. And I've had so many people call up. It's been so enjoyable talking to people and helping them solve one or two of their solutions that has really worried them. And that is breakout action plan. What are your plans? Let's talk about it. Let's find where you're good to go. And let's find some opportunities to make it even better. Okay, we've got one last slide that's coming up. There we go. Woo! There. Hey. All right. Listen, Action Coach Louisville, we're here to help you. We're here to get you prepared to do what has to happen in this new business environment. That's my phone number right there. Give us a call, set up an appointment, and we'll review your plan. We'll look at what you're doing right now to get ready for this new world and prepare. And we'll go through each of these 7 steps and help you feel comfortable. And my goal is to make sure you sit there and say, yep, I've got this, or at least, yes, I know how to get this. Again, folks, thanks for your time today. Be safe out there, be patient, and recognize that this is a new world, and there is no master plan. There's only guidelines, and we interpret how to use those guidelines to be successful in the new world. Again, guys, give us a call. Not only give me a call, but be ready for next Wednesday, because I'm sure it's going to be a whole lot of new information yet again. Y'all have a great day. Bye for now.